There's the brother Nahoya from the GMS Orlando camp. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakar Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yasha Allah, and a sincere salutation to all you Akim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwath, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. All right, I want to go into this scripture before I start this lesson. This is Matthew chapter 5 and verse 37. And it reads, "But let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay, for whatsoever is more than these cometh of evil." Now, I want to go into a lesson on this segment from former Badboy artist Shyne in his recent Drink Champs interview. All right, he made some statements concerning Israelites, concerning Judaism, all right, concerning Jews, and so on and so forth. And from the conversation, you can tell that he really didn't answer questions plainly. There are certain things that he left to interpretation. All right, I want to go through this through the spirit because, again, the scriptures, all right, are going to speak in these last days. And part of prophecy is the Lord's people waking up. All right, our heritage is not a buffet. It's not a give it or take it or leave it. If you decide that you want to be a part of this family, you can be a part of this family. That's not what this is. All right. And you can tell by the way he shaped this conversation that he tried to shape it in a way that was politically correct. And you're going to have a lot of Israelites. All right. Even those who do not claim to be Hebrew Israelites, that are going to use this truth in a deceptive manner to kind of still be politically correct and accepted by the majority. All right. So I want to go into a lesson on this real quick.
When they come back Crip, when they come back Muslim, when they come back Christian, no one comes back Jewish. No one comes back Jewish. No one comes back Jewish. No one comes back Jewish.
You know, the Israelites, the proper name for Jews are Israelites.
And Israelites, for people who don't know,
I'm not talking about those guys on 42nd Street.
That's what I was about to say.
And see, there we go. All right. Again, you have these guys who take what they want from this truth, and then they try to run with it and disassociate themselves from the prophets of Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai. All right. Now we get on the other camps, because they go off. They go off on their doctrine, but they do push that we're Israelites. And you see guys like this guy who doesn't want to lose his notoriety and his platform. He begins to shape the conversation by disassociating himself with the brothers, all right, beginning with our apostles and all the other camps who at least push that we're Israel, even though they go off on everything else. How you have guys who want to touch the truth but disassociate themselves from the source, starting with Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai. All right.
No. Listen.
That's not the Israelites.
Listen,
okay.
if you're
guys on 42nd Street with black,
if you're a Christian or a Muslim,
the
Quran or the King James version
of the Bible,
and you read the Old Testament, they both have the Old Testament, and you read, it will tell you about the Israelites.
Right.
And the 5 books of Moses is in both those scriptures, and in the 5 books of Moses.
And see, this is why I start off with Matthew 5, right? Because what he's doing is he's trying to make sure that he words his conversation carefully, so not to offend, all right, the small hats. And you can tell that that's what he's doing. That's why he's taking so much time to let his yea be yea and nay be nay. All right, he's trying to use this colorful language to kind of basically step on the truth. He's not giving the whole truth. He's giving part truths. And then he's leaving certain things open for people to interpret as they want to. All right. And that's why the scriptures talk about in the end, they shall speak and not lie. All right. This is why the scriptures talk about the light has come into the world and men love darkness rather than light. All right. This is why the scriptures say this as well. All right. Let's go to Isaiah 34. All right. Isaiah 34:16 reads, "Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. No one of these shall fail. None shall want her mate. For my mouth it hath commanded, and his spirit it hath gathered them." All right. Because what you see is this guy tried to say the Quran and Bruh, the Lord is not dealing with the Quran, man. All right? The Lord is dealing with the scriptures as they are written. And this is not negotiable. You know, you have people like this guy, you know, and for those who don't know, he used to roll with Puff Daddy. You know, he was one of those artists. You know, he got famous for the shooting with Puff Daddy and Jennifer Lopez. You know, and he's since turned into a politician in Belize. You know, but now if you don't know, all right, when he was first released from prison, all right, he had converted to Judaism. He had the small hat locks and everything. All right, the little small hat. Well, you know, when they had the locks, they wore them black hats and they had the locks on the side of their head. He had those when he first came out. All right, and now you know he's a politician. All right, but now he's defending this idea of a watered down version of the scriptures, and that's basically what it is, man. All right, so let's continue.
which is my name.
You change your name to Moses.
Yeah, Levi. Well, my name is Moses Barrow.
Right.
The 5 books of Moses documents the happenings of the Israelites.
Mm-hmm. It's not in the Torah, though, as well?
That's the Torah. The Torah is in the Quran.
It's in, okay. So that's the
and
first.
in the Christian books.
Got it.
So the point I'm trying to make is nowhere in the Torah, the Quran, or the Christian books do they mention the word Jew. It's Israelite. You know, Jew is just a misnomer. It's just a, you know,
right.
Just a pseudo name, you know, just a and if you look at the journey of
Now I'm gonna assume that he's just talking about the beginning of the scriptures, all right, the Old Testament, if you will, as far as Jews. But for edification, let's go into it, all right? Because he says it's not mentioned in the Christian book, or we refer to as Jews. All right, and here go a few examples, all right? This is in the Old Testament, all right? And this is in reference to other nations calling us Jews, all right? So I don't know if he's making a point to say that our nation itself didn't recognize ourselves as Jews, or I don't know what argument he's making, but we are mentioned as Jews. And when you go into that for edification's sake, the southern kingdom, all right, because Jews is short for Judah, all right, and the land of Judea during the time of the New Testament, that's when the southern kingdom were still inhabiting the land under subjection under other nations of people, all right, particularly the Romans when you get into the New Testament. All right, so I just wanted to touch that really quick because we are called Jews in the Old and New Testament, but I'm not sure what he means by it's not mentioned. But, you know, just for edification's sake, I just wanted to bring that out as well.
The Israelites, Israelite, you know, Jew is just a misnomer. It's just a, you know,
right,
just a pseudo name, you know, just a, and if you look at the journey of the Israelites, they were Africans. Egypt is in Africa.
Right. North Africa, right.
It's Africa.
Right.
Right? So the people in Africa got broad noses, big lips, and, you know, much darker than I am. You know, you had pharaohs that were the color of your shirt. So the point I'm making is, you know, the Israelites.
And for edification's sake on that as well, all right, we are not African, all right. We were in sojourning in that land, but we are not African, all right. And really, the term is Ham, all right. We're not the children of Ham, all right. We're the children of Yasharallah, all right. We are the children of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, all right. We're not the children of Ham, all right. As a matter of fact, for edification's sake, all right. And that's why I say through the Spirit that this was very deceptive in a way, because you give small truths, but then you add all of these different terms and you really don't tell our people the full truth. You just give them enough to want to listen to you, for you to add certain things that don't belong in this. And that's why we have to kind of go through this video and kind of chop it and bring out the truth, all right, concerning things that he's either lied, or I won't even say lie, that he's wrong on, because he could sincerely be wrong. But We have to go through this and just break down all of the things that are just not true. All right. We're not African. All right. This back to Africa, this Pan-Africanism that's mixed with being an Israelite is just not biblical, man. All right. You have guys who are saying the 10 tribes are still in the land of Ham. They're still in so-called Africa. That's off. It didn't take a year and a half to go from the Assyrian captivity to the land of Africa. That's off. And then you have guys like this who people may look at him and say, man, he changed his life around. And then you hear him talk about the Israelites and he adds a small portion of truth while saying he's not associated with those he probably learned this truth from. And then proceeds to add things according to his viewpoint and not according to the scriptures. And we get passionate about this because you got these guys who have these platforms who are just leading our people astray. Some of them maliciously and intentionally, and some of them are sincere. They're sincerely wrong, but they're going to sincerely be destroyed if they don't repent. All right, real quick for edification. This is Exodus 11 and verse 7. And it reads, but against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know how that the Lord doth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. So even though we were sojourners in that land, even though we had to move around in that land on many occasions to blend in, all right, to run from persecution, we are not of those children. All right, there's a difference between our nation and the Hamites. Even though we look similar, this is why Moses was able to hide in he was able to join the Egyptian house. All right, because you're going to hear Shyne, I think his name is Shyne. Yeah, you're going to hear Shyne make another statement about Moses that's just untrue. It's just not true, man. All right, so let's go into it.
Most of their story was in Africa. So it's not like, it shouldn't be a coincidence or it shouldn't be shocking that, you know, an African American, African Caribbean is drawn to Judaism.
Right.
Because that's an African science.
Wow.
Israel is in Africa. If you look at Africa, Israel is right there attached to Sinai, which is in Africa. They're like connected. They call it the Middle East. I'm not going to get into that politics, but if you look at the map,
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's not far-fetched that it's
not even far-fetched. It's literally attached.
Right.
Wow.
And the entire thing was going from Egypt to Israel.
Well, what I meant far-fetched is
but
that it's the same people.
It's still a part of Africa.
Right.
So Africa got Ethiopians. Africa got, you know, the Igbos in Nigeria. You know, shout out to my little brother, Davido. So it's not, you know, to me, people associate being Jewish with being European.
Right.
Which is, you know, just a myth. It's not real. You know, if you look at Moses was married to an Ethiopian.
Wow.
It says this.
Right, and it's post-World War II Israel.
It says this in the Bible. But I'm not talking about Israel. I'm just talking about, you know, so.
Now, just to land back off of that, right? What he's saying right there is true. All right. The idea of the Israelites being European, of European descent, is a myth. It's untrue. All right. And through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah, again, he made some statements that were true according to the scriptures. But there's a lot of things that he kind of left open to deception. All right. Kind of open to be led wrong or led astray. And that's why I want to go through this video to point out those points through the spirit. All right. To bring out the edification on it. Because, again, what you're seeing is that outside of the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, you have the truth coming out. But in a lot of cases, especially on large platforms like this, like Drink Champs, you have a situation where you get small, very small pieces of truth, and then it's mixed in with somebody's emotions or what they're still holding on from the world. And through the spirit, we have to combat that. And that's what the Lord is calling us to do. All right, to combat those things.
Being a Jew is not synonymous with being an Israeli.
Right.
You know, this is something that is like our calendar is like 5,800 years old.
Wow.
So the point I'm making is being a Jew, being an Israelite is not a racial thing.
Right.
You have Jews from Morocco, you have Jews, Morocco, you have Jews from Iran, you have Jews from Yemen.
Right there. So he said that being a Jew is not a racial thing. All right. And that is false. All right. There's a family that the Lord has chosen. All right. Now, I'm not sure if he meant it's not designated to a location, but for edification's sake, the children of Israel, that's a racial lineage. That's a lineage of a family of people on the earth. All right. You can't take that from those people because you don't want to offend the world. All right. That's just what it is. That's truth. You can either acknowledge truth or you can reject it, but there is no in between. That's why the Lord said, let your yea be yea and your nay be nay. All right, let's get that real quick. Let me get Exodus 4:22. And it reads, and thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus saith the Lord, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. And I say unto thee, let my son go, that he may serve me. And if thou refuse to let him go, behold, I will slay thy son, even thy firstborn. So the nation of Israel is known as the Lord's firstborn. All right. And that shows you that there's a hierarchy, right? Now let's go to this. Deuteronomy chapter 4. Or you know what? Let's get this one. This is Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. And it reads, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power. Yahweh Bashim Shai hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. All right. And another one, let's go to Amos, the 3rd chapter and the 1st verse. And it reads, hear this word that the Lord hath spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities. All right. So it's clear that the Lord is dealing with a race or a nationality of people, a family of people. All right. But you have guys like Shyne, all right, who add this political correct lens on the words of the Lord as if the Lord is a man that he should lie or repent. All right. So through the Spirit, let's continue on this.
You have Jews from Iran, you have Jews from Syria, you have Jews from Lebanon.
From the places
you have Jews from Russia.
But you're naming mostly places besides Russia.
You have
mostly
Jews.
Known for
No, you have
Muslim.
Jews from Czechoslovakia.
All over
you have
the
Jews
world, right.
from all over Europe.
Wow.
But those Jews that are in Europe came from Africa, came from Israel. They were persecuted in Jerusalem and in Israel, and they fled to Europe.
Right.
Now, that is true. As a nation of people, we were scattered. All right. We've been scattered as a nation of people. So we are going to come back from all of these lands where the Lord has scattered us. All right. And through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shemal Shah, that is true. OK. All right. That is true. But this is what the gospel is about. It's about gathering the elect of those who are scattered amongst the nation, because not all the Israelites are going to make it on this go round. Only a third are going to make it, and they're going to be gathered from the four winds, as the scriptures say. All right. Matter of fact, let's go to this. This is Deuteronomy chapter 30. I'm going to jump down to verse 3. And it reads, you know what? Let's start up. This is Deuteronomy 30 and 1. And it reads, and it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations whither the Lord thy power hath driven thee, and shalt return unto the Lord Yahweh Shemal Shai, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that then the Lord thy power will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations whither the Lord thy power hath scattered thee. So he is correct concerning our nation being scattered amongst all the nations. All right. But as a nation of people, there is not according to your religious preference. It's according to the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And on this side, the curses show you who are the children of Israel. The scripture said that they will be upon us for a sign and for a wonder. And of that nation of people, those who have been given the faith, all right, and have backed their faith up by their works, all right, according to predestination, will be saved amongst the nation of Israel. But this isn't for the entire nation on this side. All right, but I just want to go into that to show you that we are scattered amongst all the nations. So there will be Israelites in Czechoslovakia and all of these different places that he named. But their lineage goes back to Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans on their father's side, even if they don't look like Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans.
So the point I'm making is I don't like to racialize being a Jew.
Right, right.
Being a Jew is aracial. Being a Jew is a belief.
Right.
And that is, to believe in one God.
And again, all right, let's go to the scriptures. All right, because being a Jew is not it's not a belief. It's a lineage of people. All right, now I'm not sure if he's referring to modern Judaism. I'm not sure if that's what he's referring to. But you don't choose to be an Israelite. You don't get to choose to be a heritage that you're not born into. This is about the family of Israel. That's why the scriptures say that we will be gathered from amongst the heathen. Not gathered from amongst the unbelievers, but from amongst the heathen. All right. Real quick, just to make that point. This is Ezekiel 37. And I'm going to jump down. And it reads, verse 26. Moreover, I will make a covenant of peace with them. It shall be an everlasting covenant with them, and I will place them and multiply them, and will set my sanctuary in the midst of them forevermore. My tabernacle also shall be with them. Yea, I will be their God, and they shall be my people. Now, this is a clear separation. There's a clear acknowledgement that there's a separation of people. That everybody isn't considered an Israelite. That you don't get to choose to be an Israelite. All right, verse 28 reads, and the heathen shall know that I, the Lord, do sanctify Israel, where my sanctuary shall be in the midst of them forevermore. So this is clear that the Lord has a separation. All right. And you have guys like this guy who wants to say that, he doesn't like to racialize being a Israelite. So I'm not going to say Jew, but he doesn't like to racialize being an Israelite. Well, the Lord did it. When you go back to the name Israel, it's a man's name. It's not a land. It's a man's name first. But this goes back into this PC where these guys take some of the truth and for conscience and guilt's sake, they want to add the truth to whatever they already believe in. And the scriptures say none shall want her mate. You can't match this and put this together with something else that makes you feel good. All right. Now let's go to this real quick. So let's get Isaiah 37-28. And I want to see. Yep, NLT is perfect. It says, and when my temple is among them forever, the nations will know that I am the Lord who makes Israel holy. All right. NIV says, then the nations will know that I, the Lord, make Israel holy. All right. And you go into holy, it means separate. This is the Lord separating his people from the other nations. All right. So let's go into it. Let's go back to the video.
Monotheism.
Right.
And I believe that there's one intelligent designer that created the universe. And, having a connection with that intelligent designer is the Holy Grail, kind of like with me and Diddy.
Right.
When I realized that connecting with him would lead me to success. And that's why I chose the name Moses. Because Moses was not born a Jew. He wasn't circumcised. He didn't have a Brit Milah, right? He didn't keep Shabbat. He didn't wrap tefillin. He didn't do any of those things. He was raised as an Egyptian.
Now that's false again. All right. Now when again, these terms are very tricky. All right. But for him to say that he wasn't born, let's get that statement again.
Moses not the same.
About a Jew. Yes. And that's why I chose the name Moses. Because Moses was not born a Jew.
All right. And this goes into a very important understanding. All right. Because again, before we receive the law, statutes, and commandments, all right, there was a oral tradition, but there's still a family lineage. And just 2/3 are a perfect example. They are still Israelites, but they are considered rebellious Israelites, and they're considered Israelites in a heathen state of mind, but they're still Israelites. He's insinuating that Moses was born an Egyptian, and because he was raised in Egyptian culture, that made him an Egyptian, and it didn't. All right, let's go to Exodus. Let's get Exodus, the 2nd chapter, just to make this point clear. All right, so this is Exodus chapter 2 and verse 1. And it reads, "And there went a man of the house of Levi, and took to wife a daughter of Levi, and the woman conceived, and bare a son. And when she saw him, that he was a goodly child, she hid him 3 months. And when she could no longer hide him, she took for him an ark of bulrushes, and daubed it with slime and with pitch, and put the child therein. And she laid it in the flags by the river's bank. And his sister stood afar off, to wit what be done to him. And the daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash herself at the river, and her maidens walked along by the river's side. And when she saw the ark among the flags, she sent her maid to fetch it. And when she had opened it, she saw the child, and behold, the babe wept. And she had compassion on him, and said, This is one of the Hebrews' children." Just because Moses was raised in the culture of the Egyptians doesn't take away from him that he's a Hebrew Israelite. That's why I said this segment of this was very deceptive. All right. And I don't know if it was sincerely wrong or just malicious, but it really goes back to being politically correct. All right. Guys like this are on a platform between politics and everything else that they don't want to offend anyone. So they water down the truth to make other people feel comfortable. All right. But that's why the Lord has raised up the prophets, beginning with the apostles and elders on down, man. All right. So that's and through the Spirit, I wanted to go into this in detail again, because this is important. Interviews like this get seen by thousands of our people. And then they take the little bit of truth, and then they also take all of the things that are just not correct according to the scriptures, according to history. And it's really important. All right. So let's just continue.
He wasn't circumcised. He didn't have a Brit Milah, right? He didn't keep Shabbat. He didn't wrap tefillin. He didn't do any of those things. He was raised as an Egyptian.
If Moses is not the same person as Muhammad, right?
No.
Okay.
But Moses is like the guy in Judaism. It's him and King David.
Right.
But Moses is the guy. He's the guy that got the Torah.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, Judaism does not acknowledge Yahweh Shai. All right. They don't acknowledge Hamashiach. And to land back off of that, let's get this. This is Proverbs chapter 30. All right. Salakia. This is Proverbs chapter 30. I thought it was Proverbs. Must have slipped my mind. Salakia, bear with me. All right, it's 4. Salakia. This is Proverbs 30 and 4. And it reads, Who hath ascended up into heaven, or descended? Who hath gathered the wind in his fist? Who hath bound the waters in a garment? Who hath established all the ends of the earth? What is his name, and what is his son's name, if thou canst tell? All right, and one thing that truly separates Judaism from the scriptures, all right, is the disbelief in the son of Yahweh Shai. All right, among many other things. But I just want to point that out because he said in Judaism, the man is Moses and King David. All right, and that's a whole nother topic concerning the Moses and King David. But just to bring that point out, you know, they don't believe in the son. All right, they don't accept the son as, they don't accept Hamashiach as the son of God. All right.
You know what I mean? But Moses was raised as an Egyptian, as a North African, in Pharaoh's house. But Moses
And this
became.
is in the Torah, or this is?
It's all
It's
in
in all
the
the
Torah.
books.
Everything
Okay,
that
but
I'm
it's in all
telling
the
you is
books.
facts.
Okay.
He ain't come yet?
Okay.
Typical Stephen Vick.
Yeah, you getting that money?
Yeah. But listen, but Moses was raised as an Egyptian, right?
Yes.
But that's what I'm trying to tell you. The foundation of being a Jew and an Israelite is not a racial thing. It's an ideological thing.
Right.
And that's a lie, man. That's just off, man. That is just off. And these are guys who skip prophecy to push their own agenda. Now, man, all right, let's get this. Let's get Joel chapter 2 and verse 27. All right, and it reads, "And ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the Lord your God, and none else, and my people shall never be ashamed." All right, that's a big difference. But I want to grab prophecy as well, because you have guys like this who take what they want from the scriptures, all right, and then they add things that feel comfortable for them. All right, now let's get this. This is Ezekiel 39, and I will start at 25, all right? It reads, "Therefore thus saith the Lord power, now will I bring again the captivity of Jacob, and have mercy upon the whole house of Israel, and will be jealous for my holy name." So the Lord's going to have mercy on the whole house of Israel, all right? And that's not an ideology. That's a family, because it didn't say the belief, it said house, all right? Now let's get some of these other Bible comparisons. All right, the NLT says, it says, "So now this is what the sovereign Lord says, I will end the captivity of my people, all right? I will have mercy on all Israel, for I jealousy guard my holy reputation." All right, so this is showing you that the Lord is dealing with his people. All right, the NIV says, "Therefore this is what the sovereign Lord says, I will now restore the fortunes of Jacob, and will have compassion on all the people of Israel, and will be zealous for my holy name." That's a separation, man. Now, part of it is your mindset, all right? Because inside of the nation of Israel, you have 2/3 who refuse to return, and you have a remnant that have returned. But that doesn't mean that it includes other nations, that other nations can involve themselves in a culture that never belonged to them in the first place. All right, when you go into Amos, the 3rd chapter, again, it says this. All right, Amos 3:1 says, "Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquity." So here it is. Israel has suffered the curses alone by themselves. But now other people, all right, who are conditioned to think like this, all right, have now tried to include all these other nations into a blessing that never belonged to any other nation. Just like the curses don't belong to any other nation. The other nations didn't get carried away in boats, in ships. Judah and Israel were oppressed together. All right, the separation of our families. All right, all the many other captivities before this one. All of those things happened to a particular nation of people. It didn't happen to non-believers and believers in the Babylonian captivity. It was the whole nation of Israel. We had to go into captivity. That's what it was. All right, the Assyrian captivity. That was when the northern kingdom went in, and the Babylonian captivity when the southern kingdom went in. It wasn't the non-believers of the southern kingdom. All right. It was the nation of Israel as a whole. And that's why the Lord said he talked to the whole house of Israel. And here it is. All of these guys, especially these pseudo spiritual guys will say that they know the scriptures and they believe in the Bible. But fast forward through prophecy and history. And this is why you have guys like this that try to make a politically correct spin on the scriptures. You notice how he mentioned I don't like to make it a racial thing. But we're talking about the words of the Heavenly Father, not our feelings, not our opinions. All right, the scriptures talk about that. All right, real quick. This is Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 9. And it reads, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? Because Jake's heart wants to be compassionate on all people, but the Lord has his own agenda. And you either get with it or get left. All right, and that's why this interview is so deceptive, man. All right, because you can see that he acknowledges certain things that are true, but then there's a watering down of this truth to be politically correct. All right, and it's no coincidence that this is a politician talking. All right, he's a former rapper, but now he's a politician, and you can tell by his speech and his mannerisms that he's adopted that politician state of mind of giving half truths. All right, so we have to break these things down and edify.
Right.
It's a philosophical thing, right? Let me tell you what that ideological and that philosophical thing is. Moses grew up with Pharaoh. Moses was going to be Pharaoh. And who is Pharaoh? Pharaoh is the guy that works people to death, the guy that has no morals, no characteristics. Can we give a round of applause and see?
That's right.
We got to drink to that.
He just look like money.
We got to drink to that. Well, listen, you know how you know you're rich?
Yeah.
When you wear the same hat every day.
That's right.
That's money right there.
That's right.
That's that. What's the guy's name? I mean, Warren Buffett is poor now. That's that Elon
Zuckerberg
Musk.
does that shit.
No, that's Elon Musk.
Shit.
That's
Elon
Elon
Musk.
Musk right there. That's Elon Musk. So
yeah, let's cheers to that. Goddamn. Salute.
Killing people, working people to death. So that I could be rich and I could have these pyramids and I could have all this wealth. That's garbage. That's basura.
Basuda. Yeah.
Right?
Basuda. Yes.
Basuda, right?
Like the weed my friend used to smoke.
Right? Mm-hmm. And that's the foundation of being an Israelite. Principles, integrity, right? Mm-hmm. Character.
Now that's true. All right. Now that's true. I'm not going to hold him on that one. That's true. All right. That's the foundation. But that's not, I mean, we are family first, but the Lord gave us the law, statutes, and commandments to set principles, to set integrity. So I am going to give him his points on that through the Spirit. All right. It's Deuteronomy 4 and 5. And it reads, behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my power commanded me, that ye shall do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. For what nation is there so great, who hath Yahweh Bashim Shai so nigh unto them, as the Lord our power is in all things that we call upon him for? And what nation is there so great that hath statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law, which I set before you this day? So he is correct on that. Our behavior, all right, the principles that we've learned through the Spirit, according to the law, statutes, and commandments, are supposed to represent the righteousness of Yahweh Shema Shai. All right, but that doesn't mean that other nations can include themselves into a family inheritance. Because when you talk about being an Israelite, that's an inheritance. That's a bloodline. That's a family. When you talk about the blessings of the nation of Israel, that's an inheritance for a family of people on the earth. And this is what all of these other guys leave out concerning these, how should I say this? Concerning these different religions and these different guys who touch the truth but don't tell the whole truth. They leave out the fact that this is a family affair, or they water it down so that anybody can be included into the family affair. And that's why he started this conversation off by disassociating himself with those who stand so stiffly for Yahweh Shema Shai.
He said, you know what? I don't want to be rich if being rich means that we're going to work these people to death. These people are going to be slaves. Man, That's garbage. And he went into the desert with nothing. Moses.
Now I'm gonna give him some I'm gonna give him his points on that one too, because again, he's making a statement about Moses and how Moses, all right, didn't want to be successful or succeed with the Egyptians, as it's called. You know, he didn't want to win with the Egyptians, so to speak. All right, let's get that one more time.
That's garbage. And he would be rich if being rich means like principles, integrity, right? Character. He said, you know what? I don't want to be rich if being rich means that we're going to work these people to death. These people going to be slaves. Man, that's garbage. And he went into the desert with nothing.
Let's get that. All right, so let's go to Hebrews, the 11th chapter. All right, because our forefather Moses was a man, amazing. All right, amazing through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shyne. And the legacy that he left behind is amazing to this day through the spirit, man. All right, let's get this. Hebrews 11 and 24. And it reads, by faith Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of Yahweh Shyne than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season, esteeming the reproach of Hamashiach greater riches than the treasures in Egypt, for he had respect unto the recompense of the reward. By faith he forsook Egypt, not fearing the wrath of the king, for he endured as seeing him who is invisible. Man, come on, man. Thawadi how about Shemal Shai for the Lord leaving our records here, man, for us to look at and be comforted by the bravery and the integrity and the spirit of the Lord upon the righteous men of our heritage, man. And Thawadi how about Shemal Shai for giving us the whole truth now, man, so we can see interviews like this and pick it apart and identify the truth and separate the meat from the bones. There was a point we couldn't do that, man. There was a point we didn't have the ability. The Lord didn't open up our eyes for us to know what was meat and what was bones. And now we're here through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemal Shai, standing on our feet, Lord willing. All right, we're part of that number, a great exceeding army, as Israel returns back to their heritage, beginning with the remnant, man.
Moses, in order to follow his principles and his ideals. And that's what I did. I said, listen, you know, yeah, the Rollie's nice, the Bentley's nice, Ferrari I was driving around with. I had all of that while on trial. But none of that was worth me being a Tekashi 6ix9ine and saying, you know, Diddy did it.
Right.
So my entire life is based on integrity and character. And so like in the House of Representatives in Belize, I'm there to advocate.
All right, so yeah, that's it on that. I think all of the points have been made concerning the statements he made in this video. And Lord willing, this was edifying. But hey, you know what? Let me get this. Let's get this. Let's get 2nd Ezra 6, because it's a beautiful time that we in. That things that are said through the Spirit, we can look at it and we can decipher it and we can pull out all of the things that are wrong. And we can go to the scriptures and show why it's wrong. And we can see the meat and appreciate the meat, the truth. All right. And separate it from the lies, man. All right. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 6. And I will start up at 27. All right. And it reads, for evil shall be put out and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome. And the truth which hath been so long without fruit shall be declared. All right, so Lord willing, this was edifying. With that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yasher Allah. And a sincere salutation to all you Akim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwath, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. Shalom.